Hey folks, what's up? Ernicus here with Wicked Awesome Gifts. I almost said gaming, that's my other business. But anyway, I've been promising you guys some content, so I wanted to get this video out earlier tonight and do this, but I got a little sidetracked and busy with some of my Facebook stuff. And I'm trying to post up all my keychains to my website and get those moving and get them sold. But anyway, trying to live up to my promise and give you guys some more content. So I thought I'd just do some quick and easies this week. I'm going to try and do one every day or every other day of some of the quick and easy stuff. Tonight I thought it would be good to go over the test grid. So if you want to learn a little bit about test grids and why they're important and what the hell they even are, stick around. If you don't, if you already know all about them, then cool. Yeah, go watch something else. Neebs Gaming is pretty funny. Go watch them. They're cool. But anyway, test grids. For those of you that do follow me on Facebook in the groups for the laser engraving groups, you probably see me tell people to do those a lot. I don't like to get into the whole settings thing. It's very annoying, and I understand why, so I get it. Okay, I was new too. I thought there were magic settings that we could use and everybody could share. Hey, great. There's not. The hard, cold truth that a lot of people don't like to tell you is that these lasers are all different. Even those that are the same model and type. They're different. They perform differently. Now, sometimes, you know, the settings will be close, and sometimes they'll be way off. We'll use me as an example. Now, as it turns out, my original laser head, the more I'm doing... Sorry, I got a bug in my... The more I'm doing some investigating, I'm coming to realize that that laser module may have in fact been broken right out of the box. And I've just made it work. It wasn't producing at full power. But, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But to use it as an example, my original laser head, when I would do, let's say, my tumblers, all right, I was doing them like 4200 speed at 80 power, sometimes 90 power. And, you know, people were posting like, "God, that's a lot of power. I don't do mine. I don't do mine with that, you know, that much." And on my new replacement laser module that I have now, I found a sweet spot is 6900 at 60 power. Big difference, right? So, I mean, if I was me of the past asking me of the future, "Hey, I want to do some tumblers. What setting? Your tumblers look great. What are your settings so I can do that?" And I were to copy those settings, they wouldn't look great, okay? Same thing. So for those of you guys going on the internet saying, "Oh, that's cool, what are your settings?" You know, and these ass bags are going to post it up. They're going to come on the forums and they're going to, you know, sorry I'm a little negative, but I've had a bad Facebook day. But I'm trying to work to get truth out to people so that people have the information they need, right, to do the job well. And there's so much unhelpful content out there. These people will, someone says, "Hey guys, what settings do I use? I want to do tumblers." Instead of telling them, like what I'm telling you now, and giving them the truth of it, they'll just post up a pretty picture of their tumbler. "Oh, look, here's mine. I use blah, blah, blah." That doesn't help anybody, guys. If you're one of those guys watching this video, please stop doing that. You might think that is helpful. That is not helpful at all. Okay, they'll teach a man a fish thing, right? If you really want to help them. If you just want to post your shit and get some attaboys and get a pat on the back, do that. Go post your Tumblr and say, "Look what I did," because you're going to get 100 replies. People saying, "Oh, that looks great, good job." And it'll feed your ego. You'll feel better. So, anyway, I thought since slate is so easy to do, and I've got a whole bunch of hearts. It's funny that I'm doing this because yesterday I just douched my office and cleaned it all up, threw away a lot of shit. And some of the things I threw away was probably 30 or so of my last 100 batch of, not 100 batch, it was couple hundred. Anyway, I don't care. It's late. I'm tired. I threw away like 30 coasters yesterday. Because some of these coasters, they're natural slate, guys, right? I mean, they're natural stone. So they're not always going to be perfect no matter where you buy them. You buy them from Alibaba, you buy them from JDS, you buy them from Amazon. You're going to get bad ones in the batch. So it just happens. You weed them out. Some of them you can keep for testing and whatever. But so I threw a bunch of them out. I should have kept them because I could use them today. But I still have a bunch. I bought 100 heart coasters from Alibaba back before Valentine's Day. And I only sold like 10 at Valentine's Day. And then I sold a few more at Christmas. No, it wasn't Christmas. What the hell? Couldn't have been Christmas because I didn't have them at Christmas. I don't know, another holiday that wasn't Valentine's Day, and I did some for some customers that wanted their loved ones on little hearts. It was neat, did their portraits. But anyway, I still have a bunch left, and so I looked through today. There's a couple that aren't good, and I still got like 50 of them, so we can waste some of those for the video. Ain't nothing but a thing. I've already done the test grid on these things. We'll show you that here. Let's see. Here's my old one. Here's some coasters. All right, so. Man, why does the face track go off when I move? God, stupid thing. God, this is just the day I'm having, right? Where's my face? No face detected. I'm right here. Detect my face. Cool. Whatever. See, I'm having a day, so I'll move it manually. It doesn't want to detect my face now. Whatever. All right. And let me turn on a blank internet browser. That gives me more light. That's a trick for those of you that need lighting at your desk. My room's pretty dark, but turn on the internet browser is really bright. And yeah, so this was my old test grid from my old laser module. Okay. May be hard to tell with all the lighting, and they all look good, but trust me, they're not. When you really inspect your grid, you will see, and if you have good lighting, this room is yellow lighting. So yellow lighting is terrible, just so you guys know, for this stuff. So you want daylight, or the daylight light bulbs, some nice daylight light. But as you look down the grid, typically, this is typically, not always, but your best settings are going to be down this diagonal. Okay, from low to high, usually within a 2 to 3 block range down the thing. And when you tilt it and look at it, you'll see that some of them appear dingy, some of them yellow, some of them gray, at least with the slate, and some of them dark for too powerful. This is an engraved test file that I got off of Etsy. I put it on my Facebook group. You can get it there. It's free. I'm not charging for it because I modified it a little bit so it's not the one that I bought. There are a lot of them out there. Kobe put up some links for his. He's got a ton of them. Kobe Schmidt from Geeks at Large. He put a lot of test grids. He's got a bunch too, but this is my favorite. This is the one I use. It came with a big pack of like 19 different things, but I use this a lot. And I made another one for leather that I modified. I'll get that real quick. I modified it so it can be used on little pieces of leather, and it doesn't use the whole spectrum, so you don't burn the shit out of it. Because if you run your leather at 100% at 10 speed, you're going to burn the shit out of it, right? So I've got these I put them on a keychain, and I bought a sample leather set, and all of the little leathers, it only goes up to 50. Some of them still burn up, but it's not as bad. 10, 20, 30, yeah, 50, some of them 40. But, all the colors and all the results. So, you know, anytime I want to do something in leather, oh, how that black and gold, what's the best one? Oh, it looks like 8700 at 20%, you know, so it's right there. You'll never you'll never see me ask for settings on the internet, guys. You'll never look back through all the posts, even when I was brand new. This is one thing I learned from day one, just from reading and doing research, right? You got to do your test grids. You got to do your test grids, okay? Day one, that's what you should be doing. I will never ask anyone what settings to use. Cold day in hell for that happens. I'll just throw down a piece of material and figure something out before I do that. Because they're all different. Do your testing. I mean, I did that today with acrylic for someone. Someone wanted on the Facebook group, wanted to know if our lasers could cut maroon acrylic. I'm like, well, I think I got a piece somewhere, and I got still on my desk. I was fucking with it. I got little test things I got from Houston Acrylic, and one of them was a maroon color. So I don't remember the settings I used. Last time I did acrylic was 3 months ago. I just threw it down, picked some settings. Look, it cut. You'll be able to do that as you do this stuff a lot. You'll be able to start picking off settings of what you think should work. As time goes on, you just kind of know the range and sweet spots of these lasers and what they can do. So that will come with time. Those of you that are brand new, don't stress about it. It will come with time. So I threw this down, did some cuts, you know, and gave her the results. So she's going to go buy some now that she knows it'll cut that color, because some colors don't cut. Anyway, so that's enough. We'll go over to the laser and we'll run one. I'll hit pause when I actually do the lasering, because I think it takes 5 to 10 minutes to do this. I don't remember. We'll see what it does. Then we'll come back and I'll edit the video to see the final product. But let's go over there, because this test grid is honestly no good anymore. I just keep it over on my laser table, because that's when I'm drinking over there coffee or whatever. I'll use it as a coaster. It's a coaster. So may not be valid for the settings anymore, because I have a new laser module since I did this, but it's still a good coaster. So let's go over there. Oh man, I need better light in here. All right, let's put you down here. Move that there. Now at this point, we're not going to be staring at my beautiful face. I'm going to go ahead and turn you around so you can watch the laser, and I'll just talk to you from behind the mic. I mean, behind the camera. Obviously, I'm a professional YouTuber. I've got the setup here, right? No, I don't. So we'll make it work. But actually, before we set you there, let me turn this on. I turned off my limit switches, and I got Lightburn working again, so I don't have to use XCS, because I hate XCS. But let me open. All right, so I've got a test file folder. Here, I'll let y'all look at my computer. I don't care. Turn around. Piece of shit. All right, there we go. All right, I got a folder here named test files, and I've got a bunch test files, right? We're going to use the one called Engrave Test, and that's the one I have on the Facebook group. If you want a copy of it, you can go download it. So what this does, all right. I probably should, you know what, I might open OBS when I pause this later and do this on the actual computer if this doesn't turn out well, because I'll let you watch my computer. What this does, it gives you a box, which a lot of times I just delete the damn box anyway, because I don't need a box around my shit, especially on these heart coasters. They're not a square, so we don't really need that for this. But anyway, it gives you the power increments. It goes from 10 up to 100. And it goes from speed, and these are millimeters per second. It goes from 10 up to 145. Now, if you're like me and you use millimeters per minute, just multiply these numbers by 60. Okay. So you know, 10 speed is really not 60 by 600 speed. No, 660. I'm stupid. So multiply by 60. Told you it's late. And you'll get your millimeters per minute. And in fact, that's what they use over here, which, no, they don't. They're using it there too. All right, so anyway, what this is doing, as the laser engraves this, it's going to give you 10%, 20%, 30%, all the way to 100 in increments of 10 for that speed. Then it's going to go through and do the same thing for that one. So that's why it takes a long time, because these first few rows are pretty slow, so it takes a while. Once you get familiar with Lightburn and how to use it, you can even take some of this away. When you know you're not going to be using 10 speed anyway, just delete it. I can't think of the last time I used 10 speed, or even, oh, there's some things I did with 25 on my old laser, not this one. But you can make these smaller and get rid of some of these. If you really want to know how it works, you go over here and you click on Shape Properties. And once you click on one of the little boxes over here, so I clicked on the 80, you'll see over here it's Power Scale 80. Now if I click on 90, you see it says 90. So that's how that works. Over the Shape Properties tab controls these. So in the main Cuts and Layers tab, they're all going to be 100%, right? Not this, because that's the labels, who cares? But so they're all at 100% over on the main grid. Where it's controlling the variance in that power is through the Shape Properties tab. Now that's not a great explanation for it, but I didn't want to get into the details on how to make a test grid for this video, because you can make your own when you want to do it for different sizing and stuff. But I just wanted to give a quick beginner, here's a test grid and here's what you do. All right, so we have this. We know that it's right now at 100 by 100 millimeters, so which is perfect for coasters because these are 100. The little hearts, however, let's put you down. These little hearts are not 100 by 100. They're close. So you see they were made from 100 by 100, but they're heart shaped. So we would miss all of this and a little bit of that. So I'm going to go ahead and shrink it down and make it smaller, just because. So if you guys don't have one of these little cloth tape measures, you probably should. It's always good to have around, or the old trusty steel slide rule, where I don't know where mine went. It's always usually right here, but cool, it's missing. Nope, there it is. Over on the desk. So I always keep one of these handy. Good old-fashioned steel slide rule, one of the best things ever. And this little cloth tape measure. So we're going to measure this real quick. Our widest spot's about 90. Our lowest spot about 40. We're going to go about 80. So, you know, actual square usage area is probably 50. Yeah, let's just do a 50 by 50. In fact, since it is only going to be 50, and I know I don't use a lot of the older ones, let's open up that file. I do have a smaller one, the one I use for leather, Engrave Test 50. It's much smaller, as you can see. So, this one's only, how big is this? Well, Jesus, I let this, it can't be, oh, that's a percentage. You're an idiot. Okay, so it's 100 high and 64 wide. That's too tall, so let's go ahead and make it 50. 50 wide, 50 tall, 32 wide. That's going to fit perfectly inside our heart. So let's, let's get you down here by the old laser. What are we staring at here? Oh, hope we got enough battery. Battery light is coming on. I forgot to charge this thing earlier. Well, that's the computer. We're going the wrong way. Alright, I'm not gonna do any real crazy measuring. This is just for sample purposes. Now, if you saw my other video about focusing, I don't normally focus up an 1/8 inch on the slate. Well, just for shits and giggles, let's do it and see what happens. Okay, so, actually, you know what I want to do? Let's pretend. I kind of know what works right now on these, but let's pretend for a minute that I'm not doing a test grid. And let me start a new file here. Nope. All right, let's put my name in there. Make that bigger. Okay, so I just put my name in there, and we're gonna pretend that I'm new and I'm on the internet, and I posted up a thing, and I said, hey, what's the best recommended settings for slate? Now, if you've been on the internet a while, you know I'm gonna get 50 answers, right? With a bunch of different shit. And let's say some dude posted up a real pretty picture, and they said they use 6,000 speed with 30 power. I don't know how that's gonna come out. Probably not good, because it's not what I use, but slate's really easy to do, so it might come out well, which might ruin this video, but we'll see what happens. So let's do that real quick. And then we're going to run our test grid and see what the true thing should be. That air assist is nice and loud. I cleaned out my filter yesterday, so she's blowing out hard. Let's frame it. That's a little too wide, isn't it? Alright, let's move her over a little bit. Let's try her right there. Shit, still need some more. Alright, there we go, that'll work. So we're going to pretend this is something that's important, not just my name. We'll see what it does. And right off the bat, I'm an idiot. I didn't pick fill. I picked line. I always do dumb shit on my videos. I tell you what. Alright, now we'll do it. And it's actually not looking too bad, honestly. So I guess I picked a decent setting. That's funny. Doesn't look terrible at all. Well, I wanted to pick something that looked like shit. Oh well. I'm gonna stop it. We don't need to watch the whole thing. Alright, so it looks like Joe Blow on the internet gave me some pretty decent settings, right? That's not terrible. That would not work for images. You know, imaging settings are completely different, but that's hilarious. It's not terrible at all. It's nice and white. That's funny. Mine's are a little different. Actually, let's see what I usually use. Oh, you know what? That kind of equates to what I do. I'm stupid. I usually use 8700 at 50. So if you think about it, I only moved up 2 increments, really kind of a little more, and then I upped it 20% to compensate for the speed. So that's probably going to give the same results. And we will just... Oops. We will just do the letter E. Oh, I forgot the air assist, but whatever. It's slate. Not a big deal. Maybe I shouldn't have picked slate. Slate's pretty easy to do, pretty versatile. You can, honestly, you can screw up slate and it still comes out well. But, whatever. It is what it is. Yeah, okay, so, I mean, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but, I mean, the E by itself is actually a little bit better than the other one. It's a little bit whiter. That's why I use it. You can't see as much black through it like you can on the other one. Especially at this angle. I don't know if the camera can grab that, but yeah, it's a little more solid there. So I wish I would have picked a shitty. Let's see something. Let's see. There we go, that's crappy. Alright. So now we can resume our journey. I tell you. Okay, so ignore the good looking ones over here, okay? Pretend this is our only one. So we just asked the internet for help, and they said, yeah, I use 8700 at 20%. So we're like, cool. We go sit down and do that, and this is what we get. You know, a shitty half-ass engraving. So it doesn't work. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to lay down a new one. We're going to do a test grid, and we're going to see those results. So, but I got to hit pause and get this camera plugged in. So I'll be right back. Okay, guys, we're back. And now I got the phone, so it's going to be a lot more wobbly. Sorry. It doesn't have a pretty gimbal on it like the camera I was using. But it is late, and I don't have time to wait for everything to charge, and I really want to get this done tonight. So let's bring out another one. Go ahead and set up the test grid. Now, what maybe I shouldn't have. If this doesn't turn out great, then I mean I'll still post the video. But maybe Now also, some slates vary in thickness, guys. Some are real thin and some are beefy and meaty. So that's another good reason why it's good to focus up an 1/8 inch. Because if you remember what I said about being out of focus does not mean blurry in the laser world. So it'll still be nice and sharp, but it accounts for that varying of thickness of the materials. So when you have a jig, you know, like my coaster jigs set up and you're doing forward time and they're different heights, you just adjust to the highest one and all will come out the same. It's a pretty cool little trick. So let me set up the test thingy again. We're going to use the 50. No. And we're going to make it about, let's go 70 high. See how that works out. Alright, I will leave all the framing on there, whatever. So let's frame it and see what it looks like. Looks like we're dropping off a little bit. Alright, that's good enough for what we're doing, so I don't care that it's not quite right. So I'm going to let this run, and then I'll you know, fast forward the video and time lapse thing so it goes faster. And then we'll take it up, we'll go sit down and we'll talk about it. And you notice I turn on my air assist. It's not because it's making the engraving better. It's to help keep your lens clean, guys. So running air assist is not just about cutting and that. It keeps the surface free of debris, sure, and the dust that settles, but it also keeps shit from going back up under into your lens. So that helps you keep your lens clean. So always run your air assist. Alright, cool. This is just not my night. Maybe I have to do this again tomorrow. For some reason, it cut off. I wasn't over here watching the whole time, so I went back to the computer to do some work. But when I came back, the phone was off. So we'll see how much it did. But anyway, let's look at the thing. And look at all that usable shit. Man, I tell you what, slate's so easy. Maybe I should have not used slate as an example. Well, I mean, it's okay. So I think I can see it anyway on the phone. If you look at the top, it's kind of yellow and dingy. Gets a little wider and then wider and wider. And as you go down, that's why it's looking at it straight isn't always good. You got to look at it from the side sometimes. So especially this angle, you can see the bottom left, it starts getting a lot lighter. And the bottom right, it's a lot darker white. And even up the right column, it's yellow. The text is yellow. So while at a first glance far away, you're like, man, look at all that usable stuff I got. There actually is differences between these values. Like from here down, to me, these are shit. I wouldn't use these. These are shit. Your usable area is right about in here. In fact, my settings are, well, 10, 20, 30. Okay, yeah. So all the 10s didn't even show up. Here's the 10 powers. So that this whole thing didn't even show up at all. So I typically use this one right here. But as you can see, I could go here. But why go slower when you can go fast? If you can get fast with less power, that's where you want to be. You don't want to use lots of power. it saves the life of your laser. So, looking at this, I mean, I like my results at the bottom. You know, the one, what is that, 145? What does that say? God, I'm getting old, I can't see. Yeah, 145 at 50 power. It's hard to do this while holding a stupid phone, but the reason I like it is if you look really closely, honestly, this one's not bad either, but you don't want to see through the white. There's some black there, but that might be dust. I don't know. You know, this one don't look bad either. So any one of these four would be passable in what I would call a sellable product. Especially this one. Actually, this one kind of looks better. I use this. I might run some tests of my own with this one. What was that? 115 at 50. So that's 6900 speed at 50 power. That looks really clean. I kind of like that better. I might run that. You know what? I think I did. I have to open up. I'm going to open up one of my old files and see, because I might use 69, not 87. I've been using 87 for a lot of stuff. I might, in fact, use that one. But, yeah, we could probably get some more usable area out here. But, again, why use more power if you don't have to? If you can get away with less power, even this one's not bad. So, and this is why you want to run a test grid, guys. So you can sit and look at it and analyze and say, okay, here's the settings that my laser can produce. And then you pick the best ones. So like I'm sitting here saying, this one's nice, that one's nice. So now what you would do, and I'm not going to do in the video, but now what you would do is throw down another test piece or use the extras here and just type your name or put a SVG file or something, you know, get a vector file and then do like or I tell people to do a 10 millimeter square and a 20 millimeter circle. I mean, hell, we can do that real quick. There's enough room on there for that. We'll run the two. Let me do that real quick. No, don't save. Here, I'll let you see what I'm doing. So let's throw down a square. And let's make it be, see, I unclick little lock button, and let's make it 10 by 10. So 10 width, 10 height. So now we got a little 10 by 10 square. Let's Control D, duplicate it, move it down. And now we have two squares. So this first one, we'll leave it and we will give it 8700 speed. Now I like to do these at 20 millimeters, but just because I don't have room on that heart, we're gonna do it at 10. But the bigger area you get, the more chance you have to see for impurities and not good quality. So 8700, what'd I say, 50, right? Yep. And not line, we want fill. All right, so now this one, we'll change him to blue, and we'll set that layer at 6900 at 50. And then we'll look at those two squares and see if there in fact is a difference or if they're both doing the same. Oop, these overscans should be 5, by the way. Sometimes on slate, I'll push 350 on my LPI just because I want to make sure. Yeah, I know for those of you that come on and go, you're overlapping, that's stupid. It's slate. You can overlap. And in fact, it's better to overlap because you make sure you get all the nooks and crannies because it's a natural stone. So there you go. You don't have to agree with me. I don't care, but that's what I do. Hit OK. Constant power. Hit OK. All right. So there's our two little squares. So let's make sure it's going to be where it needs to be. Yeah. Good enough for government work. All right. Hit that. hit that. Alright, and yes, for those of you that might be thinking in your head, or wanting to post a reply, well, when you increase the LPI to 350, it takes longer. Yeah, it sure does. But it also makes a better product. Alright, see, I don't know about you, but I still think I like my setting, my choice of this 8700. 8700 was on top. Now this is why it's a good idea to do the big squares, because these little squares can be a little deceiving, right? Oh, look at that one. You can actually see the lines. Ooh, I don't know if you guys can see that, but on the right side, oh, that's a great example. I'm glad it shows that. You can actually see the lines, the scan lines on the far right. I can't use my fingers because I got them occupied, but on the far right, at the 50 power mark on the bottom right, and go up 3 squares, the bottom 3, you can see the lines. And that was at 254, right? Which is what everybody says you're supposed to use with our diode laser, blah, blah, blah. But everybody is not always right. Everybody needs to shut up sometimes and not just regurgitate shit they see on the internet, but do some testing. This is solid proof right here. 254 is not the LPI for everything. Look at that. You can see those damn lines. I might even take a picture and zoom in so y'all can see them. I mean, that's crap. It looks great from afar. Hey, that's beautiful. But if your customer gets up close and they look close, they're going to see those lines. That's bad. So if we look over here where I boosted the LPI up to 350, same settings as those 3, by the way. Exact same settings, but the LPI is at 350. Now you don't see those lines. 100% solid example of why it's good to overlap sometimes. Okay? So, that's cool. At least we got something out of this test. But honestly, these two things really look the same, honestly. But again, if you can go faster and get the same result, why would you want to go slower? So, the top is 8700, the bottom is 6900. They really both look the same whiteness. None looks more yellow than the other. The yellow you do see is because of this flashlight. So I'd have to call that the same. Unless y'all see something different than me, let me know. Post it in the results, but I mean in the comments below, but I think those are the same. So why go slower when you can go faster? 8700 at 50 for my laser does this. So do this for yours, all right? So I'm going to pause the video. We're going to go sit down, and then we're going to talk about it for a minute or 5.
Okay, kids, we're back. So, wrap up and discussion time, right? I'll try not to make it too long. You know, I like to get long-winded. I'm in the middle of helping folks online as well. Cool. Guy got his burn going good. Perfect. All right, so we had a little heart, right? And we went over the little squares and what they mean and all that good stuff. So now if this was me and I was doing these testing, my next step after I do the grid Then I do the little squares. Sometimes I'll also do circles and squares. 20 millimeters though, not 10. But like I said, we didn't have room. I also like to do names or words and see how they come out. That's kind of like a 3-part process for me. I'll do the grid, circle, squares, and then I'll do some text. Excuse me. And then I'll throw my image down and see what happens. Now again, this is for vector files. The test grids are for vectors. There's a whole nother process for images and portraits and high definition images and things like that. I don't have any here to show you. I sold all. Oh wait, I got one. Alright, so these are all tests, right? From a lot of the testing with imagery. Imagery is, oh geez, lost my face again. Hello, camera. Okay, so these are, this is one I was trying to do for my daughter. And you see I have text on top. And now it's, maybe I don't want it to follow my face. We have text on top and then her image. Now that's probably not going to show up well on the camera. Mostly because it was not done correctly. All right, good. Now we lost my face. So now let me move it over. That way I can stay to the side and make the camera focus over here. Okay, so, you know, the image, it's there, and you can't really see on camera, but in person, you can see it. It's really light, but, you know, it wasn't done right. And I think this is one I actually sanded to test, see if the sanding made a difference or not. But there's a portrait and vector combined. Same thing, her and the dog again outside playing. Kind of light, doesn't work. I don't have any good ones to show you. I'd have to, you know, you can look on the internet on my samples on the forum. These are all just test crap pieces that I haven't thrown away yet. There's my dog. So these were all, you know, too light. I didn't have the gamma set correctly, and there's a whole other thing about how to process an image for lasers and the settings you use for that. You don't use the test grids for that kind of stuff. There's a whole other, there's raster tests, and there's other things. Well, maybe we'll do that one day. But I'm not an expert in that. I do good work. I know how to do it. So, you know, I know how to do it. I don't know how to teach it. So, you know, why reinvent the wheel? I'll most likely direct you to 2 or 3 other videos that I watch to learn how to do it. Those guys know how to teach it well, and that's how I learned how to do it. So maybe one day if I get good at teaching it, I'll do it, but I don't teach it very good. So anyway, maybe I shouldn't have done slate, because slate's really easy. It's got a lot of things to pick from. The leather is not as bad either, but you see this in the pink when you're trying to get the white to pop out. There's only a few spots, right? The black and silver that everybody loves, there's a few spots where it comes out, and even though you can see it, some of those are crappy. You can see black through them, so you know, there's only like 2 or 3 usable out of all that. So the slate's a little more forgiving. But just to recap, I've kind of been all over the place and rambled and ranted, but do your test grids, okay? Remember, remember our shitty one, right? Well, not these. These were good. My guesses were good. But remember our shitty one, right? You know, Joe Blow on the internet said use these settings, because that's what he uses, and his come out great. Well, we did that. It didn't come out great, and we've effectively ruined a coaster, right? So, don't listen to people that just post their settings on the internet. Don't be that guy, that asks for, or girl, that asks for settings on the internet. Waste your product listening to people giving and receiving settings on the internet, or do your own test grid. Get the settings that you know will work and do your product. You're going to have better results. You're going to waste less product. Okay, now speaking of that, some people are like, oh, Yetis are expensive. I don't want to waste a Yeti with test cups. I'd rather get someone else. Okay, take it from someone who's wasted 5 Yeti cups. That's expensive. $30 pop. It's not cheap, right? I don't do Yeti anymore. That's another topic, another day. But you know, every tumbler is kind of expensive, but I mean, I can pull this shit out all day. I got test cups all over my house, right? It took me this many times to find the right thing. I told you I do text after I do. This one don't have the test grid because I already did the test grid over here. I have a blue one somewhere too. But you know, I did my name, and I kept adjusting by 5% until I got something usable, not usable. You know, this is, the top one's okay, but you know, these are not as forgiving as the slate. All right, so, and this is complete shit. Can still drink out of it though. We've all got test cups if you're doing them. You know, these mugs are not cheap. This is like $10 my cost, but you know, there's a test grid. There's a test grid. The reason there's two, because I did one the first time and things weren't coming out right, so I did it again to make sure I did it right. Okay. One thing I will tell you about tumblers and test grids. So, you know, we just saw this. When you lay it down flat, the laser goes this way. Okay. So the laser's going across the 10 speed, and as it goes left and right, it adjusts power. That is ideal for a test grid. You don't want a test grid this way so that it is adjusting and it stays on the right power, and as it goes across, it speeds up and speeds down. That's kind of asinine, right? You don't want to do that. So you want it to stay the same speed across and just adjust the power, not adjusting the speed. You don't want it to go slow, or fast. You don't want to do that. So, and that's what I did over here. When I did my test grid, I forgot to rotate 90 degrees. So when it did it, it was doing the weird speed thing, and I don't know if you can tell, but the results were actually a little bit different. This is with it this way, and then this is with it the proper way. The results were different. Okay, so that's why I ended up having to do it again, because then when I used the improper rotated test grid and I tried something, it looked like garbage. So then after I investigated, looked a little more, I realized that I forgot to rotate it. So I did another one. One thing I will say, these little tiny test grids on cups, you know, there's not a whole lot of real estate here. They can be misleading as well. Something might look good in that little 1 millimeter square, and then you go and engrave it and it's not good. So it is more expensive, and I'm not rich. Okay, I'm doing pretty well with my business, but I mean, all the money I make goes right back into the business. I'm not living large off engraving. You know, it allows me to buy more product and do more stuff, etc. But I'm at the point where I can, something's in there. You know, I can afford to buy, you know, products for testing. So what I've learned now is that I don't use these smaller cups for testing anymore. I use the big ones, the 30-ounce water bottles. Yes, it's more expensive. Actually, I think they love their cups for some reason. I think these water bottles are cheaper anyway than those damn coffee mugs.
Now this was stainless steel, so I had to use the spray. But look at all that real estate, right? There's so much room here. I did 100 by 100 on this, you know. So now I've got some nice big squares. Excuse me, this is the right way. I've got some nice big squares to look at to help me assess that perfect combination, that perfect storm, if you will. So if you get to the point where you can afford a sample case of these, you know, it's a hard pill to swallow. Spending, let's see how much these cost. I don't remember off the top of my head. Now, if you are a member of JDS's Advantage program, then you get, you know, the best price no matter how much you buy. If you guys don't belong to JDS, you really should. You know, if you don't have a business set up, then you can't use them because they are business-to-business vendor. But you know, hit me up. I resell their items to people, and I don't mark them up at like $1 an item. You know, just for my time and effort and using my account, my pricing. I get my pricing because I buy a lot of shit, so that's why, you know, it's why I mark them up a little bit to make a few bucks. But it's just that I've had a lot of people in my Facebook group order a lot of stuff. Even this week, I've sold like 5 or 6 cases of tumblers to people, and I make $20 on it, right? So I'm not getting rich. I'm not ripping people off. I barely mark it up. The whole reason I do that is to get people a chance to have product that has a good markup value. Even at paying that extra 20 bucks, buying it through me, they still have a 70% margin, you know, on their product, so they can still make good money on it. So anyway, if you can't buy from JDS, let me know. I already called them, talked to them, said, hey, I'm going to be a reseller for your shit. They're like, yeah, that's a pretty good idea. So yeah, we're not doing anything illegal. They love it. They're getting more shit sold. All right, so these 32-ounce water bottles, you know, at my price for a case of 17, which is one of every color, it's $153. Okay, so I'd probably sell that to somebody for 175 bucks. And you get free shipping when you spend over $100 anyway. So the free shipping is worth it, you know, because that would only be like 30 bucks to ship. So, you know, it seems like a big pill to swallow. Like, man, I don't want to waste all those things. But I'm telling you guys, if you don't listen to anything I ever say, please listen to the test grid thing. Buy a case of all the colors. If you do leather a lot, buy a sample pack of all the different color of the leather and make yourself a little keychain. If you're going to focus on tumblers, buy a fucking case of tumblers and do one of every color. I guarantee you they're going to be different for every color. Our diode lasers bounce off these colors differently, and they're going to be different than old Joe Blow on the internet, okay? If you're going to do slate, there are no other colors, so you don't need to, you know. But whatever products you're using and specializing in, buy one of each kind. Do a test grid on those kinds, because the variant colors are going to be different. Okay, it's mostly with the tumblers and the leather, but the wood. Hey, we can talk about wood. It's not always about JDS shit, right? There's a sample box. There's a sample box. Since we're on the soapbox, let's preach, right? I have 2 sample boxes of wood. I buy my wood from Ocooch Hardwoods online. I'll put that link in the description. They're a great company. It's a family-owned business out of Midwest, North Midwest, somewhere over there. I don't remember. Ocooch Hardwoods. They sell plywood and they sell regular hardwood. They have a couple different cool things about them. You know, shipping I think is about $1 per pound. So, you know, you're not getting around that. They don't have
You can't set up an account with them. You can't get on like a Net 30 like I can with JDS or anything like that. There's no free shipping. But their quality of wood is great. Their service is great. If you ever have problems, and I've had a couple, I call them up, they fix it. They're awesome. Their service is great. So I have no affiliation with them. I'm not an affiliate member. They don't do any of that. They don't even come on the Facebook groups. They just sit out there in the Midwest and do their business, and they do it well. So I speak the truth. If a company sucks, X-Tool, I'll tell you the company sucks. If the company is great, Ocooch, JDS, whatever, I will rave about you because you do a good job. So these sample packs I think were like 20 bucks. I bought 2 of them because I loaned out my sample pack that I use for engraving to a customer to decide what color and type of wood they wanted for a project I did for them. And then I realized, you know, I should not do that. I should keep my engraved stuff to myself. So I bought another one, and they give you these little cards that are this big. My ruler, I don't know, what is this, 5 inches by 3, something like that. So this is Bubinga. They have their foreign wood and also their domestic wood. This is not legible. I don't know what that is. Some purple heart. So what I did with these, I went ahead and stained them all with a natural stain. Or not all, some of them I never finished, but there's walnut. So that was my goal, is to stain them all with a natural stain and use these for samples for customers. So when they want to decide what kind of wood they want. Because sometimes they don't know what they want, right? So we can help them decide. And they have this whole box is full of all these sample woods, and it was only 20 bucks. So it's a good buy. I would highly recommend that. The other cool thing about it is you can make these. Look at that. What is that, guys? What are we talking about today, class? Yeah, test grid. Every single species of wood that they sell has a test grid on it. And not only does it have an engraving test grid, but at the bottom, I sized in a cutting test grid. Remember when I said you'll never hear me ask about settings on the internet? I wasn't lying. I'm not being an egotistical jerk. I'm just trying to illustrate what you should be doing too, okay? And you will never ask, because I see it all the time. Well, I got this piece of wood. I got an order for this stuff, and I don't know what to do. Well, figure that shit out before you take orders, guys. But you didn't, so here you are. So here, go get a piece of wood. Cut the damn thing. Figure it out for yourself. Stop asking people what they do, because theirs is going to be a little different than yours. Again, these lasers are different. So this is a little medium cut test. It was also part of that pack, and I think I got this on the Facebook group. I'll have to double check. If not, I'll put it there. I resized it to fit here. I resized this to fit, and it fits on these little test pieces of wood perfectly. This is one of the most awesomest things I ever did. Back in November, I think I did this. These are cool, okay? So now I never have to know, or never have to wonder, what's cherry? This was cherry. This is aspen. As you see, they're different. The different species of wood have different characteristics, which make it laser differently. Some of them are amazing at cutting. Aspen is one of them, as well as, and this butternut actually is really easy to cut. This is pretty cool. Aspen and alder was one of my favorites. I really like the alder. I like the aspen because it's really white. Okay, so in some of your projects where you need a nice white wood where the grain is not really strong, aspen is great for that. It cuts amazing. The X-Tool can actually cut finite, I mean real finite on these. I've cut some real intricate stuff with this on aspen. It doesn't engrave too well though. Look at all that blank area, right? There's only a very few usable spots. It doesn't engrave good, but man, it cuts good. So if you're doing any inlay work or overlay, cutting out letters, gluing on top of darker wood like walnut, this goes great. I don't know where my walnut's not stained, but it goes great on top of walnut. It looks really nice, right? 2 colors. It looks really good on some projects. I did one where it's like the state of Maine with the moon and the light out. It looked really good. So it's not just tumblers, it's not just a leather, this crosses over to wood too. Okay, test grid, test grid, test grid. I think I beat this horse enough, right? You guys have probably already tuned me out. Half people will have to look at the analytics later, probably already turned off the video because I'm just saying the same shit over and over again now. But it is important. So do yourself a favor, do the world a favor, stop asking for settings on the internet, go do your test grids, and it's only going to be better. You're going to have a better experience, you're going to have a better product, you're going to do a good job, you're going to have less headaches, you're going to have less stress. Okay? So, excuse me, there's my little video today, and hope you enjoyed it, hope you found something useful. If not, let me know in the comments. I'll take hate too. I'm not going to censor you. Unless you get belligerent, then I'll just delete you. But I mean, hate brings good content for the analytics anyway, you know. So hate on me if you want to. If you want to tell me how you feel about the videos, do that. Hit the like button, subscribe, do whatever. You know, I'm doing this stuff for you, not me. I'm not getting any money. I don't get paid from YouTube, so I'm not that big. Got a lot of views. We're getting big, which is kind of cool. You guys have really been supporting. I mean, we got like 300 and something subscribers now. And, you know, one of those videos I did, the wine glass tumbler, actually got 10,000, 11,000 views, I mean. So that was that's pretty cool. So thank you for that. Maybe I can get some YouTube money one day. That'd be nice. And maybe they can buy me a laser. Hashtag Aeon Mira 9 Pro, in case anybody wants to give me one. But, I want to do a video next on, I have a set, well, I've got a whole case that I bought of whiskey glasses. They're in the other room. I won't waste your time, go get them. But JDS does some glassware and whiskey glasses, so I ordered some of those. I want to see how they do. Normally I get my glassware from Websteront. But since JDS started, you know, pumping up their glassware, I figured I'd give them a try since I'm happy with everything else they do. I've engraved on the pint glasses so far on a couple orders for some customers, but I haven't done the whiskey glasses, so I'm going to do that. And I think I'm going to do a video on that. It seems like people like seeing the glassware, especially judging from the 11,000 views on the wine tumbler. And that could be because wine tumblers can be a pain in the dick, and especially getting them level and all that. But we'll do the whiskey glass and see how that goes. I'll do start to finish, from the painting to the engraving to the cleaning, my whole process and what I do and how I get the good quality that I get. Here's a black one. That is what I did for the wine guys. There's a few errors on it that I don't like, and I will never give customers something that has errors. So I drink out of it. And then there's this one. I didn't realize how tiny their little logo came out, so it's really, it won't fit. I don't have anything dark. I can put this blue glass in there, that might work. I don't fit. Well, now I'm just being retarded. So, here, this is black, maybe that'll work. There it is. There's a logo on there, but it is really tiny. It's engraved well. I mean, it's a good job. It's nice and frosty. I wish you guys could see it. It's nice and frosty, like it's supposed to be. You know, there's no chipping. There's no black shit in there. It's beautiful, but this was before I got the tilting mechanism that allowed you to tilt and also raise it. Ooh, shit, I'm gonna spill my water. It allowed you to raise it up so that the handle wouldn't bang on the bottom of the deck or the laser module. So now that I have that device, I can make my logos longer and wider and fill up more of the real estate on that side. But at the time, I couldn't, and that's what I got. I didn't even think about it. It was a tiny little stupid logo. I didn't want to give that to them. Like, here's a glass with your logo, and they're gonna look at it and go, "You're an idiot. Why would you do that?" So I kept it. I drank out of it. Yeah. So you'll end up with a lot of extras. My wife keeps telling me to stop screwing up on cups because you got nowhere to put them all in the kitchen. But whatever, I'm not throwing away a cup. So yeah, there you go. Do your test grids. You're gonna be better for it. And that's it for today, guys. So take it easy, and I'll do my best to get some more videos out to you soon. All right, have a good night. Bye.